Friends, just noodling here today. I'm so glad that you're with me here on April the 9th for the 9th day of the 30-day guitar challenge. So as per promise, I'm going live with you 2 hours every single day during the month of April. We're going to do a beginner lesson from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. and from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. we're going to do an intermediate advanced lesson, and I'll tell you all about that in a minute, and then I'm going to get to your questions, okay? So this is how it's going to go. If you're just joining us, then welcome. We've been doing this every day since April the 1st, and actually about a week before then we were doing these live broadcasts because we were already locked down here, or I was already anticipating it, so we already started doing these live broadcasts every day. But here we are, starting on the 1st, we said, let's do the 30-day guitar challenge since we're all kind of locked down here together for 30 days. It takes 21 to 30 days to establish a habit, a great habit, so why not do this all together where we're in it together? We can all see our forward momentum. We can encourage each other. It doesn't just have to be guitar that we're getting better at. We could be meditating. We could be working out. I'm doing a push-up challenge with Mike, one of my admins you'll see in there, Mike Bess, 5, Wrench is his name. He's one of the blue admins there that you'll see. This right here is the PDF that you should have downloaded already. So the very first link below is going to give you our curriculum for what's going on here today. Dominic, thank you so much for the donation, and also Eric, thank you so much for the donation. What do you say here? Thank you so much for my veteran benefit, Eric. You made my year. Yay, thank you, Eric. So kind, my friend. So you should have downloaded this PDF already. The very first link below, this will give you the syllabus for what we're doing every single day. Wow, Quad 4, thank you so much for the donation right out of the gate, $50. That is extremely generous. Thank you so much, my friend. Big old lion there. I love it. Thank you. Yeah, should have downloaded the syllabus already. Okay, this is going to walk you through every single day up through the 30th. Wow, that was talented. And I'm also giving you access to the Unstoppable Guitar System Standard today. It's the second link below. I'm walking you through this every single day. So if you need help, you've got it here. We're going step by step through the whole program. But you could start this at any point. Some of you have a little bit more experience than others on guitar. So you might, if you're just joining us now, you could blaze through a lot of these, okay? And even if you're watching this years later, then you can still do the same thing. It's going to be available for you, okay? Okay, so you got the link for the PDF. You've done that right now, right? Because during this chitter chatter, that's what you should be doing. You should be getting that PDF, and you should be getting into UGS Standard, at least UGS Standard. That's the free version, right? The first 30-something or another lessons. But I have a lot more lessons if you want to invest in your guitar playing, okay? And now is a great time to do it. You said if you ever had the time to learn guitar, you do it, and so here we are, and you've got a free course, and you've got a free PDF, and you've got me for 60 hours of live for the month of April, so you got no excuses, right? Okay, here we go. We're going to get into the lesson. If you haven't already, please give this a thumbs up, and if you've done that already, don't do it again. You'll negate it, and also share it with a friend, okay? We're going for 2 hours here, friends. Let's start with the beginner lesson here. The first hour, we're talking about basic picking technique and a pick rest. Super important, because a lot of times guitar teachers skip this because they assume that people know this, and they don't. You know it the day you know it, the day you learn it, and then you don't need it after that. But there has to be a first day, right? So for those folks out there that think they're so advanced at guitar and we're just doing real baby simple stuff, etc., you got to understand that there was a day for you as well that you just got into this. Okay, there was a first day for you that you learned this stuff. So be kind to those that are newer. And for those who are newer that think you're way behind, by the way, thank you, Jason, for the donation. Very much appreciate that, friend. And for those of you who are very baby beginners, that's where every great guitar player since the beginning of time began. So you're starting at a great place. You're starting where all those champions started off. No one's ever started any other place, but I'm just reminding you, this is where Jimi Hendrix and Eddie Van Halen and all the greats started off, is right in the beginning. They didn't leap forward, okay? They just practiced a lot, and you saw the outcome, okay? Don't feel bad. You're not dumb. It's that you haven't been taught this stuff before. So we're going to go through this today. Everybody out there is going to feel, if this is their first time, they're going to feel like, hey, this is really hard. I don't think I'm cut out for this. You're going to have those ideas going through your head. Now that I've told you that, you'll know what to do with them when they hit you. Just say, yo, get behind me, Satan, type of thing. Just understand that everybody has had this thought. Everybody's had the thought that they're not cut out for guitar and this is hard, etc., etc., etc. Something that you do just a few times, you won't be very good at. Something that you do a lot, you're going to be great at. It's just basic math. Now that you know that, you know to practice, and you know what to practice because I'm walking you through those lessons, okay? So let's talk about this basic picking technique, pick rest for this first hour. And then the second hour, we're going to talk about singing while playing guitar at the same time. Daniel, thank you so much for the donation. Super kind. Very much appreciate that. And oh, yes. Eggplant bow there. The second part of the hour, we're going to talk about singing while playing at the same time. I used to not be able to play guitar. I can kind of do it now. And I used to not be able to sing, and I can kind of do that now. I can also do them at the same time, which is definitely something that I couldn't do before. I can also harmonize now. I can also hear stuff now that I couldn't decipher before. Every single thing here, with the exception of some real basic human functions or some being functions like going to the bathroom and eating and stuff, besides those, everything else is learned. So just understand that. If you are worried about not getting something, it's learned, whatever it is that you're wanting to do, including singing and playing at the same time. And that's what we're going to talk about at noon today. Okay, so let's get into this idea of the basic picking technique and the pick rest. The pick rest being a lesson that is missed by so many teachers. So many. It's not even funny. Okay, in fact, a guitar teacher or book never taught me this. Now in classical school we have something called a pick, or we call a rest stroke, which is where I got this idea, the rest stroke, because I went to classical school and that was one of the first things that we learned, and it was very helpful for understanding how to tame the strings. In rock guitar or just traditional guitar with a plectrum, a pick, they don't teach this, and it's really unfortunate because it's the very first thing that people have issues with is picking, and they don't understand. The pick's flying out of their fingers, they're strumming, they're losing it, they can't hold on to it, they don't feel accurate with it, okay? So that's the very first thing. That's like if we were a carpenter and I was teaching my son carpentry, and he was holding, if he was holding the hammer, this is an ebow, not a hammer, but if he was holding, let's say this is a hammer, okay? If he was holding the hammer like this, you know, if he was like doing this, I'd be like, hey buddy, you gotta hold it like this. That's gonna give you the power, right? But if he doesn't know it and that feels comfortable for him, or this feels comfortable for him, right? Like the caveman type of thing. Well, you can't really hammer like this. It needs to be more like this, right? So right out of the gate, his technique's gonna be really bad for hammering. So if he becomes a carpenter one day and he still carries that bad technique with him, then he's going to be always handicapped by his lack of technique, right? So it's really important that we get this down. And once you can do it, the lesson's done. You don't have to keep doing this, okay? That's the cool thing. Al Howard, thanks Eric, 101 all the way. Thank you, my friend. Super kind, super duper. Very generous. So, when we're talking about, let's go do the pick rest first, okay? And then we'll get into some sort of exercise here. But here's the deal. Once you get this, and you only have to do this on the downstroke, you don't have to do it on the upstroke. Once you get this, you don't really have to practice it anymore. It's more of just like a conceptual thing that once you get it, boom, you got it, okay? You can practice it for 5 minutes once you get it, but after that, you don't really have to do it anymore. And you don't have to do it on the upstroke, okay? It goes like this. A lot of times when people are picking the guitar, they take the pick in their hand and they're kind of floating, whether it's by the arm or by the elbow or whatever, and they're floating above the guitar and they pick, okay? And they do this kind of, hold on here. And they pick out, their hand goes out into the ether, you know? They do this. And sometimes they hit 2 strings, and sometimes they hit the wrong string, the string they don't want to hit, right? And so they're wondering why they don't have control. Here's a few things you want to do. Number one, you want to take the palm of your hand and you want to rest it on the guitar. Rest it on the top of the guitar. Pickups, strings, pick guard, top of the guitar. It doesn't matter where it's at. It could be the bridge, but rest it. Think about a surgeon. If a surgeon is doing his cutting, right, you wouldn't want him like free floating out here cutting your heart, right? You would want him to rest, him or her to rest, so that there was a closer point of contact. Dana, thank you so much for the donation. That is super kind, and I truly, truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. So you want to rest, okay? Right there, right close to the strings. Now the pick rest is going to look something like this. At first, you're only going to do 1 string at a time. You're going to pick the 6th string. I'm going to bring this close so you can see it. I'm resting on the guitar, and I'm picking the 6th string, and the only thing I'm doing is I'm resting the pick on the 5th string. I'm literally picking through and allowing the pick to rest on the 5th string. You're not doing this. If you're doing it that way, you're not doing a pick rest. You're doing it wrong. So literally you want to pick and push the pick into the string that's right below it. Does that make sense? That's literally it. It's super simple, except unless you get if you don't have the technique down. If you don't have the technique down, it will seem very awkward. So there's some of you who are trying this, most of you are getting this, many of you aren't. That's okay. It's just because you haven't done it yet. Okay, just like a child. Someone texted me this morning. They're like, "Hey, I'm having a problem with this," and I said, "Well, have you ever seen a child walk for the very first time? It looks crazy." They're like, right? They're just like trying not to smash their face on the ground, and they're got their arms out and they're walking goofy, right? Well, think about it similarly. That's how you're going to be at first with the pick. It's going to feel goofy. You're going to feel awkward, but the only way to do it is to get up and fall and get up and fall and get up and fall until you get it, because there's some part of you that knows that you're capable of this, okay? That's the part that keeps trying. You know you're capable of it, okay? But it's going to be awkward at first. Okay, so once you do that with that 5 and that 6, then do it with the next string. Do it with, and I want you to do all the strings that you can rest on. Obviously, you're going to stop at 2 and rest on 1. But I'm resting, okay? I'm not picking out in the atmosphere like this. I'm resting. That's what you want to do, okay? Once you can do 1 string, so some of you are like, well, that's super easy. Okay, great. Now try it with 2 strings, okay? Now what you want to do is you want to pick strings 6 and 5 and rest on 4, so it's going to look like this. And you want it to be 1 sound. You don't want to be this. At first it might be that, but your practice, you want to do this. But Eric, that's hard. I know. Well, that's the pick rest, and that's the whole point, is that if this is difficult for you and you get this down, you're going to have a lot more control of your pick. It's real fundamental stuff. But if you can't get those 2 strings to sound like 1, like you're picking a chord, and be able to rest on that string, then you don't have the pick rest down. And that is the most fundamental bit that we're going to be doing. So don't feel frustrated with yourself. Just be humbled and go, okay, cool. Now I need to practice that, okay? And so what you're going to do is anywhere you can do 2 strings like that, you're going to do it. So now I'm going to do 5 and 4 and rest on string 3. See how I'm resting there? You can literally see the pick move the string there, but it's resting. And then I'm going to do 4 and 3. Right? And then I'm going to do 3 and 2. Make sense? Then once you do 2 strings, then you're going to do 3 strings at a time, and you're going to rest on the 4th string, and then you're going to do 4 strings in that same way, and then eventually you're going to do 5. You can only do strings 6 through 2, and then you're going to rest on 1. But the point is that you need to have enough control so that you can rest right there on 1. So I'm playing that all at once, but I'm actually landing on the 1st string and resting. Okay, now what is that going to do? Just you being frustrated and doing it over and over again until you get the focus that you need in order to do it right. Once you start developing that, the synapses start connecting so that this becomes something that's just second nature to you eventually. So, obviously advanced guitar players, even intermediate guitar players, don't have to practice this. Now, this isn't to say that you have to do this. There are guitar players who've never been introduced to this, and they're picking fine. But what it will do is it will quicken your process of getting control of your pick. You'll be able to do it much quicker than the person who didn't. And if you're having issues with your picking, which most people do in the beginning, then that will help as well. Okay, it's really going to help you to fine tune and focus your pick on where it should be. Now, you don't have to do that on the up strum, because the up strum's just different. We don't, number one, the control's kind of there already. Also, you're kind of hitting the strings at an angle. So when you're coming up, you're going out anyhow. You're going up in the air, if you will, instead of inside the strings there, okay? So just practice this on the down strum. You could practice it on the up, but it's really not going to help you any, okay? Really, we need to do this just on the down strum, the down picks, okay? So first try it with 1 string all the way across, then 2 strings all the way across until, obviously you're resting on the 1st string, then 3 strings, then 4 strings, then 5. And then you've got that basic idea. Once you have that, you're done. You don't ever have to do that again. You don't have to necessarily practice any sort of picking like that. It will start becoming part of you. So a lot of times when we're picking, we will end up doing this automatically, picking up and down and resting on the strings in between. But you don't have to think about it. This is more of just something to do at first, okay? Make sense? Okay, good. So that's basic picking technique and the pick rest, okay? Now we won't get into fretting yet, okay? We won't get into that. We'll just do the pick rest. And then later on, after you do the pick rest, you can always do just like a basic alternate picking, resting your hand again on the guitar, and you're just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm picking down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. You can mute it or let them ring out, or mute it. Once you got a good vibe of that, switch it to another string. You can use this with a metronome, by the way, or you can just count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. This is a great exercise. You could literally be watching TV or teaching a live class and doing this while you're teaching the live class. Right? So you just do this. You can just kind of marinate in it. And you don't even have to worry about the left hand for right now, especially as a beginner, right? The whole point of learning the way that I teach you is by isolation. You're isolating one thing and you're getting your brain to really wrap its mind around, your brain's mind, around a particular idea. And then once you have that, then you can compartmentalize it, look at something else, get that, compartmentalize that. You can do that with all these things. And then when you bring them together, like we're going to be talking about at 12 o'clock about singing and playing at the same time, if you don't have the chords down, if you don't have the strumming down, if you don't know the lyrics, if you don't know the structure of the chord progression, if you have a hard time transitioning from chord to chord, that's 5 separate little items there that if you were to put them all together, what would make us think that we're going to get better at it? Just like if we're the juggling unicyclist on a tightrope, I talk about this guy all the time, right? If you can't juggle very well, if you can't ride a unicycle very well, and you can't walk a tightrope very well, you probably ought not to put all 3 of those together. In order to get good at all those things, though, someone didn't say, I'm going to do this all at once. They just got good at one thing. Then they got good at this other thing. And then they got good at a third thing, okay? And then they put them together slowly. Does that make sense? They put them together slowly. Cool? All right, all right. Something's happening in the chat there. Prothoma's dream world. I wonder what that is. Yeah. Do people really actually do that? Do people go, wait a minute, free porn on the internet? What? There's a link? I didn't know that's possible. Prothoma, get a job, a job, like not porn sites. Come on, stop. It's getting old. Okay, there's plenty of porn out there. Can we stop? Let's learn to play the guitar, Prothoma. Maybe that's not what she said there, but whatever. You know, it'll look like that. Okay, all right. So where was I? We gotta separate this stuff, okay? And then we put this stuff together, okay? That's how we gotta do it. And if you don't do that, it's gonna make things more difficult. It's not to say you can't do it that way. My first classical piece that I ever learned, it was also my first sight reading piece, was Bourrée, which is that classic, you've heard this. Something like that. I've forgotten it now, but nonetheless, that was the very first thing that I ever learned, sight reading and classical guitar, and it was not easy to do. And if I didn't have the tenacity, Helen, P-Pack, thank you so much. Eric, you're the best. Thanks for everything. Thank you for the donation, Helen. Super kind, and thank you for the kind message. Thank you. That was the very first piece that I learned, but if I hadn't had the tenacity and the knowledge that Jethro Tull, that's actually not Jethro Tull, but Jethro Tull stole that from Bourrée. I'm not even sure who wrote that. It may be anonymous, but Bourrée, that was, yes, Jethro Tull stole that, and they swung it. They did... something like that, right? They swung it. But nonetheless, my first piece, that for a lot of people, that's going to, by Bach, thank you. Yes, Dominique, by Bach. Many people, they might try that, and then they're just going to stop because it's too much for them, and they're going to get overwhelmed. My job is to keep you from getting overwhelmed. Stephen Keller, thank you so much for the kind donation and that fun little fox dude or dog there. Thank you, buddy. Thank you I've seen you give several donations here. It's very kind. Thank you, bud. So you don't want to do too much at first if it's going to overwhelm you. So and unfortunately, as a guitar player, you have to be somewhat of your own gatekeeper, your own, teacher, if you will, that says, are you ready for this or not? And if you think you're ready for this and you're not, and then you do it and you fail, you might flip, which a lot of people do. They flip to this like, I'm not cut out for this, I suck, da-da-da-da-da, all the folklore, all the lies, all the excuses. And they really truly believe them, and when you truly believe a lie, it is truth. It becomes truth for you, right? Right? We're not just talking about guitar, we're talking about anything in life here. If you truly believe something and it's a lie, it is truth for you, unfortunately. So don't do that. So start off with stuff that's very simple so that you can get it. Charles Costello, thanks so much for the donation, my friend. You guys are showing up today here massively. This is really super kind. I truly appreciate it. Thank you. So you gotta do this stuff step by step, which is why I say, do the pick rest, because once you get the basic idea of that, then that's one of those pieces, one of those assets, if you will, that you can add to your playing. You're going to be doing a lot of picking. Look, the only 2 things you're doing on guitar is you're picking and you're fretting. That's it. So this is the picking part. It's fairly useful. You're going to use it a lot in all genres, on everything that you pick. So do this. It's really, really important. Okay, you got it, right? Let's get to some questions now, because I want to answer some stuff for you, okay? First off, friends, thank you for all the donations. And if you haven't already, like this video and share it. If you've liked it already, then don't do it again. You'll just negate the last one, all right? Let's do something here. Okay, can you do something with a partial capo? You know, I do have a partial capo somewhere in the house. I just don't use it very much. I don't find a need for me personally. So, number one, it's not sitting here, so I can't do anything with it. And then two, I don't have anything that I probably would do with it. Do some guitars palm mute easier than others? No, the guitars don't do anything. You palm mute, so it's all about you. Now, you may find favor with one guitar over another, but that's just what you favor. And then another person is going to think that another guitar is easier to palm mute. So it's less about the guitar, it's more about the individual person. What do they think? You know what I'm saying? There are thumbs down. Was Susan here? Probably so. Either that or our porn gal here who didn't get any action from people who are actually doing things. Dear Lord. Can you suggest some easy songs for fretting hand practice? Ali. So, Ali, first off, do the exercises. Do exercise 1. If you want an exercise, do exercise 1 inside of the Unstoppable Guitar System. I'm giving that to you for free today. It's the second link below. When you click on that, you're gonna see a few different options. The free link is the one that you want if you want that free course, okay? And then after that, you want to learn songs. So go through the free course first. Okay, do that first, then start learning songs from me. You can go to YouTube and search Your Guitar Sage Beatles, Your Guitar Sage Elvis, Your Guitar Sage Clash, Your Guitar Sage whatever, Iggy Pop, and you're gonna find stuff, okay? We just had another donation come in, Isaac G4. Thank you, Isaac G4, super kind friend. Following your lessons, and I'm missing my Strat. I found a Mexican one for $350 on Facebook Marketplace. Is that a decent price? Yeah, that's a great price. $350 for a Mexican Strat's a great price. Indeed. I tell you what, if you guys ever want to know what a good price is for a used instrument, go to reverb.com. That's kind of like the eBay of musical instruments. It's a great place to check on prices. Also, go to eBay and put in whatever it is you're looking for and then check completed listings. It doesn't matter what somebody's selling something for. I could be selling something for $10 million. That's not the going rate for a Mexican Strat. But you see the completed listings, that's what people are buying things for. That's the actual value, right? Supply and demand. It's a real simple principle. Most people, a lot of people in the world don't get that basic idea, supply and demand. Okay, the best exercise is to just keep playing. Yes, indeed. Is an A sharp the same as a B flat? I need to know if B flat means B minor. B flat does not mean B minor. When we say B flat or B sharp or B, sharp or flat or natural, we're talking about a note. When we're talking about minor, we're usually talking about a chord, a flavor of chord is a minor. So it's a 1, a 3, and a flat 5. Or sorry, a 1, a flat 3, and a 5. That's from the major scale, okay? More on that, if you follow the UGS standard, you're going to understand what that means, okay? It can mean an interval distance, like you could have a minor third, okay, which is an interval distance, which is basically, if you go to do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, go 1, 2, 3, flat 3, so you flat that note, that becomes a flatted third, so you could call that a minor third, and that would not technically be incorrect. It's an interval distance of a minor third. But chances are, 99% of the time, if you see 3 minor or minor third, they're talking about the chord being minor, okay? Eric, do you recall when I asked you to play Blink-182 and you did? That made my flippin' day. Michael, love that. I don't know what song that was, but probably All the Small Things or something. I love Blink-182, and I think I might have taught some of their songs here on YouTube. Berkeley, I think I had a funny video the other day about doing away with the B flat. I saw that video, Jim. That was a They did that on April Fools a few years back, maybe a couple years back, and yeah, super fun. Yeah. An A sharp is the same as a G flat. No. A G sharp is the same as an A flat, Scooby. So an A sharp, you think about an A, you're going up closer to a B. So a B flat would be the same as an A sharp. Okay, so you're close, but you're thinking a little backwards there. But you're close, okay? Could you go over where the heel of your hand goes for the pick rest? Timothy, it just rests on the guitar naturally, okay? So don't overthink this one. You're taking the heel of your hand like that, and you're just literally, it could be here, it could be here, it could be on the strings, it could be on the pick, it could be up here. It doesn't matter as long as it's resting, okay? You're not doing this, but you're just kind of doing this bit here. Now your pick is close. So that's the only thing you have to think of right there, okay? Okay, and again, A sharp and G flat are not enharmonic. They're not the same notes. You guys are close. An A sharp is a B flat. Look, watch. A little bit of confusion in the chat there. Here's A, here's A sharp, here's B flat. So A sharp, B flat's the same note. You're thinking of G sharp and A flat. Okay, that's the difference between the two. You guys are real close. When reading music, playing classical, I'm having difficulty with sharps. Do you have lessons on managing sharps when reading for ease of remembering to play and how not enough practice? Yes, Frankie, it's just not enough practice. That's all it is. But I'll tell you it's a secret for what I do, okay? And most people do this, I'm sure, who read music. It's using association, and I'll talk about that here in just a second. But here's the deal. Yes, my little guy is just getting into reading. So he's not very good at it yet. Of course he's not, because he's just started it. He's a freaking genius of a kid, but he just started this, so he doesn't have it down yet, right? You're a genius, but you're probably not good at guitar if you've just started, because no one was good in the beginning. Everybody sucked in the beginning. That's how it is for everything. Everybody at everything that they do at the beginning is not very good, and then they get better, okay? So there's that. So just remember, yes, it is just practice. And whatever you do lots of, you're going to get better at. I mentioned, had an ex-girlfriend who is a symphony player, and that's all she did all day long was read music. And she was really, 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 really good at reading music. You put a piece of music in front of her, she could just nail it right away. Me, it would take a lot longer, but she did this for hours and hours every day, and that's all she did. She didn't do improvisation. She didn't teach lessons on YouTube. She didn't, there's lots of things that she didn't do, so she wasn't good at those things. Why would she be? She's not practicing that. So whatever it is you're practicing is what you're going to get good at. If you're practicing reading, you're going to get good at that. There's no trick to reading music. It's repetition, because it's cumbersome at first, okay? Now here's the deal. What I learned is that I used association with everything. So number one, I first tried to learn things in keys that were more natural, like C major and G major, ones that didn't have as many sharps and flats first, because that makes a lot more sense, a lot easier to do. You don't have to contend with the sharps and flats as much. Then when you start getting better at it, then these sharps and flats aren't as much of an issue. But give yourself some room to grow, right? So just like there's no hero in taking on a task that's too hard and failing at it. You're not a hero in doing that. So don't be that person who thinks, well, I'm just going to shoot for the stars and get this giant task and fail at it. Whoop-de-de-do. No one cares about that, right? Start with something small, earn it. Then take something medium and earn it. Then something big and earn it. And same thing is true when you're learning how to read music. Is the more you do it, the better you're going to get out of it. Okay. But using association, if there's a C sharp in the measure, then there's another C in that measure. That C will also be sharp unless denoted as a natural, okay? So when you're in a key, you're in a key. You're in a specific key, so the sharps are always going to be sharp for the most part unless otherwise denoted. So if you're in the key of G, the F is going to be sharp every time. So you just kind of, what I do is I kind of go through the scale and I'm like, okay, every time I see a F, I'm going to sharpen it. Obviously that becomes more difficult when we have 3, 4, 5 sharps or 3, 4, 5 flats, right? But you'll get to it over time. Also using association, so but that's not what you talked about. You talked about sharps, so I addressed that one. Okay, cool. All right, excellent. Are resonator guitars any good? Resonator guitars are great if you want a resonator guitar, if you want a resonator guitar sound, if you want to if you want the taste of chocolate, you eat chocolate. If you want the sound of a banjo, you play a banjo. If you want the sound of a resonator guitar, you play a resonator guitar. So are they good? Well, they're not good or bad. They're resonator guitars, so they do what they do. They resonate. Okay, hi, I'm an acoustic guitar player and I'm having a difficult time learning notes. Can you give me tips? Abdullah, yes. The second link below is a course that I have for you where I walk you through this, and specifically there's one, how to learn the notes on the fretboard. I teach you like that. There's like 3 basic principles. Once you know it, you can literally have all the notes, not memorized any more than you would memorize 1 to 1,000. You don't have those numbers memorized. You have the concept memorized, 0 through 9, and then you add a 0 each time. So you didn't memorize the numbers 1 through 1,000. I've never counted 1 to 1,000,000,000, and neither of you, but we both could count to 1,000,000,000, but we never did this out of memorization. We just know the concept. Same thing is true the way that I teach you the notes on the fretboard inside of the free course. Second link below, Abdullah. So that's what you want to do. What is used more, major 7th or dominant 7th chords? Dominant 7th by far are used more often than anything else. They're used in blues. They're used all over the place. A basic 7th chord is a dominant 7th chord. Every now and then you'll hear a major 7th chord. Oh, Esther, thank you so much. Lovely shirt today, Eric. I know. Well, the sun is shining like beautifully today, and I thought, you know, and I'm missing Key West so bad. You know, my love. Key West is my love. And so I miss Key West so bad, and I wish I were there right now. I'm sure you guys wish you were in some other places as well. But nonetheless, that's why I wore the shirt today. So thank you. If you're playing a G chord and you hit all 6 strings, is there a resting spot? No, there's not. There's no resting stroke. You're just hitting the whole thing, right? Uh-oh, Rob. I'm so sorry to hear that, bud. My amplifier head is used along with an amplifier for... Why an amplifier head is used along with an amplifier for stage performance. So an amplifier head is usually the power, okay? It's usually where you're gonna get your tone and the power, and then that amplifies a speaker. So it's not another amplifier, it's just a speaker that can't do anything unless it's amplified with power, which is what the top part is. Make sense? What is your opinion of modeling amps, Kemper and Helix, etc.? That's what I'm using right now is a Kemper, and I love it. I've owned many, many tube amps. There are those folks that don't really understand the concept of modeling, but I'm telling you here, there's a ton of studio players here in Nashville that use modelers all the time, and they love them. It's not the cool thing to love, because it's cool to just be like, I'm just gonna go get my old Fender and get this old pedal and this old guitar, etc., etc., etc. That's very cool, and that's very in, and I love that. I got all that stuff too, but the Kemper, man, I love the Kemper. I wouldn't trade it for all my gear. I love that thing, and it does so much. And I've had many, many tube amps of all the different kinds, Fender and, I mean, name it, Mesa Boogie and Marshall and Rivera, and I've owned so many different tube amps before, but I love that Kemper. It's fantastic. So if you know how to use it, it's fantastic. If using an acoustic guitar, where can you rest your palm without muting? Authentically MG, just rest it on the top of the guitar like you normally would. Here's the deal. You can rest it right there, okay, and I can strum. And most of the time, you know, you don't have to worry about muting anything. You might mute that 6th string there, but then don't do it on your 6-string chords. Then do this, you know. But usually you're not muting too much on the acoustic anyhow. You're usually letting them all shine, right? I'd give more if I could. Thanks for all you do. Raz7316. Please, that is so kind of you, my friend. Truly, that is so kind. Thank you for the donation, and just the sentiment is beautiful. So I really appreciate that. Friends, if you want to donate tonight, the bottom left-hand corner next to the smiley face is the little dollar symbol. That's where folks are donating. But if you don't do that, that's okay. Can you like the video? I would love that if you would. Like it one time, don't like it twice though, because you'll negate the other. And also share this with a friend so that they understand what we're doing here. We're having a blast and we're learning a ton. I'd love to see us get up to 700 in this thing today. A couple days ago, we got up to 692, which is great. New record for the middle of the week. I love that. Okay, how do I improve my consistency, accuracy? You improve it through practice. It's the only thing that improves it. And the way that you focus on that is you just focus on being accurate. Don't worry about speed. Speed is a byproduct of accuracy. Speed never comes before accuracy. It's always accuracy begets speed. Okay? It gives birth to speed. Never anything before that. Just focus on accuracy. And accuracy, I say focus on accuracy because accuracy is something that you can get right now. You literally can see the progress right before your eyes. Where speed, you have a concept of speed in your mind, and it's different for everybody. So it's an ever-moving goalpost that you're going to chase and you're going to get frustrated with. Whereas accuracy happens right now. Okay? Okay. How to be perfect in strumming all beats. Sita. Practice the strumming exercises that I give you inside UGS Standard, which is the second link below. I have a whole bit in there on strumming and how to keep the beat and how to know where the downbeat is, how to know where the upbeat is. This is what's your problem is, Sita, is you're not knowing where the downbeat, where the upbeat is, and you're not in sync with the down strum and the up strum, and you don't have the exercises from very beginner to advanced to walk you through this, okay? If you had that, you'd be there, but you've got to do that, and I have that for you for free today. Second link below is the Unstoppable Guitar System Standard. Get in there and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. There's a PDF in there that'll walk you through the 5 levels of strumming that you need to know. And when you do that, you're gonna get this. And you're gonna get the basic concept and you'll be able to strum anything that you want to do by being able to break it down. Byron, thank you so much for the donation and the bowing eggplant. I think it's an eggplant. But he's working out, which I'm happy about. Is that maybe an avocado? Avocados have lots of fat, which are good. That's probably why he's working out. But thank you, Byron. Super kind, friend. What to do with the finger placement problems? Please answer, sir. Mahidi, well, you'd have to get more specific than that. But the reason that you're having finger placement problems is you haven't learned the basic idea, the basic concept, the basic protocol. Protocol is something that we do the same every time. And there are these consistencies that we can find in guitar if we follow this stuff step by step, okay? So the reason that you're having issues with finger placement, I mean, the folks that have gone through the Unstoppable Guitar System Standard don't have issues with finger placement if they were listening to me and they listen to me in there. So they're not having issues with this because they've gone through it and they know the protocol. So follow exercise number 1 in Unstoppable Guitar System Standard. The second link below will give you access to that, Mehedi, okay? Did I just see another donation come in? I swear I did. Isaac, G4, again, with a donation. Thank you, buddy. Prefer maple or rosewood fretboard on a Strat? You know, I have both. So on this guitar, I have rosewood with a maple neck. But honestly, I don't think about it too much. So like that sort of thing, I just don't think about it. If a guitar is too bright or too dark, I'm going to fix it either with the tone knobs or with the amp. So, my suggestion to you is don't worry about that. Play something that you like. Don't worry about the brand. Just, does it sound good to you? Does it feel good to you? And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I think because I may like a brighter sound or a darker sound than you because maybe I lost my highs from listening to music too loud or something like that. So everybody has a different palette there. So go with what it is that you like, okay? Skip, thank you so much for the donation. I so appreciate you, my friend. Can you explain your signal chain with your Kemper? Guitar, Kemper, computer, FR, speaker cab, other amp. I think it's still confusing for some of us. Skip, it's super easy. It's just like a regular amp. So for me, my guitar is plugged straight into the front of my Kemper. You can think about that as the amplifier. And then it is powered, so it's not only the guitar processors. You can think about it as being the pedals, right? And the front of your amp, you know, with all the volume and all that stuff. So that's all in one. And then it also has the amp in it that actually powers the sounds to drive a speaker. So then there's a cable coming from the amp to the speaker and it powers the speakers. It's that simple, just like a regular amp, except all the effects are built into it. So it's really quite simple. I'm not using like any sort of looping system in the Kemper because it has everything built into. I don't need it to, you know what I mean? Okay, love your lessons and signed up for the Lifetime Pro. Yes, Wesley, nice. Hit me up when you're in there, Wesley, and we'll chat it up. Let me know what questions you have. That's what I'm there for, right? Okay, beautiful. We signed up for Lifetime Pro, but in doing your 30-day challenge, I cannot find the sheets and you discuss. My sign-on seems to direct me away from them. Okay, Wesley, it's just a matter of where you're probably signing up. Number one, in both the free program and Pro, there is a welcome video. So Wesley, watch that welcome video because that welcome video will tell you exactly where the PDFs are at. There are PDFs free inside UGS Standard. The one I'm giving you guys for free is the same ones that are in UGS Pro. But obviously there's less lessons there. There's much more lessons in UGS Pro. So watch that same welcome video. It'll tell you exactly where those PDFs are at, okay? But watch the welcome video because I could tell you it's close to the bottom or to the left if you're on a computer, close to the bottom if you're on your phone. But watch, I mean, again, I can tell you about chocolate or you can taste chocolate and you'll be like, oh my gosh, this is chocolate. I can tell you about it and you'll be like, I still need to know what chocolate tastes like because you got to taste it. So watch that video, number one. Number two, make sure you're going to my library so that you know, because you're going to have UGS Standard in there, you're going to have UGS Pro, you're going to have 365, you're going to have RJ Ronquillo's slide course, you're going to have Robbie Calvo's course in there on loopers, and all the other courses that we've ever created since the beginning of time to the end of time, amen, will be in your My Library section. So make sure you go there. That's where you're going to find all that stuff, okay? Make sure you're not in the free version, then make sure you're in the Pro version. But the PDFs are in the free version too. So what I'm telling you is it could be that you're looking in the wrong place, okay? Frank Brown, how's it going? Thanks, bud, for the donation. Super kind, friend. Man, you guys are killing it with donations today. This is super encouraging. Thank you. Mandy, sweet, signed up for UGS Lifetime Pro 2 days ago myself. First time on the live stream. Looking forward to continuing to learn. Total beginner and work through 13 through 30 videos so far. Nice, Mandy. Love it. It's one of the things that I love about UGS, it's not just a lesson system. Look, there are plenty of lesson systems out there. There are tons. But the cool thing about UGS is that the folks that are in there not only they're super encouraging and they've got that winner attitude because I vet them ahead of time. I mean, these live broadcasts, I end up getting rid of lots of folks because they may not like the truth, or I'm telling them to practice, or I'm telling them there's no shortcuts, etc., etc. So the only people that actually get into the Unstoppable Guitar System are folks that know that it takes the work, they know what the work is, they know what their why is, they know that systematically learning things step by step is super powerful, and they understand these concepts. Not only that, there's a whole community of folks in there. So when you ask a question about, hey, I'm having difficulty with this, not only do I answer, but other people answer, and they say, hey man, I'm having a problem with that too, because, and this is, everybody has a problem with this. Eric says this or whatever, and they'll go into their reasons why that is. And it's very helpful because it's not just coming from me, it's coming from other people that are going through the same thing that you are. See? So it's legit. Okay? Is the major scale the same shape regardless of where you start? Thank you so much. No, Zach, it's different all over the guitar. Okay? There are many different ways that you could play the major scale. In fact, there are 7 different notes in the major scale, so you have 7 different places you could start on the neck in regards to the actual note name, but that note may appear several places on the fretboard, so you may have, you play the major scale 70 different ways, you know what I mean? Now, some of those may not make as much sense as the other ways, but you could play the major scale so many different ways. But at the end of the day, it's going to sound the same. Does that make sense? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. That's it. It's the same. Okay. Frank Doherty is saying, your first welcome video gave me the roadmap, and then all your content made sense. Watch the welcome videos. Thank you, Frank, from your mouth to everybody who enters inside of UGS, because friends they'll skip that video, and then they start asking me questions in the program, and I always direct them back to that, because not only am I trying to get them the most solid information, but also I'm trying to train them that I've given you all the answers here, and like literally I'm trying to make you independent so that you don't need me, so that you literally can train yourself and get yourself in this frame of mind. Does that make sense? My God, I'm watching my kid right now in a Spider-Man outfit ride his little tricycle in my cul-de-sac, and it is the most amazing thing in the world. He's just the most ridiculous kid. He's ridiculous. So cute. In a cute way, he's ridiculous. Oh, it's so hard for me to grab the B7 from a D or C. Rick, yes, follow my transitions video that I have for you in the free program today. It's a whole bit. It's probably a 15-minute video. We can't go over it quite today because it's just going to take too long. And in 9 minutes, I need to go over with you how to play and sing at the same time, okay? So sometimes, friends, I give you these answers that aren't answering it right here because it's a much longer answer. And if I gave you the answer here, not only would I be shortchanging you because it wouldn't be a sufficient answer, but then you wouldn't have access to it afterwards. So that's why I say on YouTube, search Your Guitar Sage Transitions. But better yet, get in the course that I'm giving you for free, the second link below, and I have a whole video on transitioning and understanding this concept. Once you get this, Rick, you won't unget it, and you'll be able to do this with every video, with every lick, and you'll do the same concept every time, and it'll come together for you. But you got to understand the basic part first, okay? Somebody said I need to get him a Batman outfit. Actually, my wife just went on. I'm watching him right now. It's so ridiculous. My wife just bought like all these little masks. If you've watched him on Instagram, he has this like Spider-Man mask, and we just got him like a ton of masks. He's gonna lose his little baby mind because we're gonna put them in the little Easter eggs for him. He's gonna lose his mind. All right, I will miss you after the 30 days course is over. Well, don't miss me because I go live once a week, a minimum of once a week anyhow. If you're in UGS, I go live 3 times in addition to that, and then I also do live broadcasts, big live broadcasts like on Saturdays and that sort of thing. Michael, thank you, buddy. Thank you so much for this, he said, and thank you for the donation, Michael. Super kind. Marco A, because I love Spider-Man and the shirt. Thanks for doing this every day for everyone. You're welcome, Marco. It's as much fun for me to do this as it is if it entertains you and I'm helping you guys out, then thank you. It's literally, I love it. I love meeting with you guys, and it jacks me up for the rest of the day, so I'm very happy to do it. Thank you. After purchasing UGS and 365, is there a way to have the standard programs removed from my library? No, David, why would you want to do that? Number one, just don't go to standard. Just go to pro. It's easy. Just don't click standard. Click on pro. That's the one you'll need to be in. You could also click a bookmark where you could go there every time and not even have to do that, David. Okay, well, you can see the reflection in on the Platinum CD. Oh, really? You can see him out there. Oh, good. Yeah, I wish I could turn the camera real easily, but he's having a blast out there. So fun. Okay, hold on. What did I see here? Something about Kurt Cobain couldn't play and sing, which is why he hired Pat Smear. Really? So Pat had something to do with, I know he's playing with the Foo Fighters, right? But did he have something to do with Nirvana? If so, I don't know that. I don't know a lot of rock and roll history, unfortunately. What's the difference between using a processor and using different pedals? Nothing. They're the same thing. They're both processors. One's in a pedal form, one's sitting on your desk. You know, they're all processors. What is the vet benefit? Scarescapes. If you are a U.S. veteran or U.S. military, I give you the entire Unstoppable Guitar System for free. Go to YourGuitarSage.com/veterans. Question, when fretting with my pinky, I get fret buzz. Any idea on how to improve accuracy, strength? Doug, exercise number 1 inside UGS Standard. The second link below this video, check that out. I have an exercise for you. It's called exercise number 1, and basically it gets you to use all 4 of your fingers. I have 24 variations in a PDF for you that you can print out and you can look at and you can do anytime. Even if you don't have a guitar, I have a way for you to do this as well, and I talk about that in that video. That's how to improve that strength, okay? Then as soon as you can, get into playing chords and songs and what have you, but you want to make sure that you have that part down, and I appreciate your attention to that detail, okay? First hour's up already. Time flies when you're having fun. Don wants to get to that advanced lesson. We got 5 more minutes, Don, but you are correct. We're getting real close there. We're getting close. Okay, Eric. Go away. What is this? Stop. Go away. Okay. If you could go back in time, what instrument would you play first, electric or acoustic? I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter to me. I love them both. So I was kind of playing acoustic at first. It's like the first one that you pick up, but that part doesn't matter that much to me. You know what I mean? John's saying, and this veteran thanks you immensely. You're so welcome, John. Love it. Bryant's saying, wife does not like dexterity exercise number 1. No, it sounds a little intense, doesn't it? Because it's not, because again, you're using chromaticism. You're not using something out of the scale. So it doesn't sound very musical. So we want to get to sounding as musical as quickly as possible, right? God bless. Thank you for taking care of us vets. We appreciate your service, Eric. Jimmy, I appreciate you. It's the very least that I could do for your service. I mean, the very, 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 very least. So thank you. And by the way, Mike, who's one of my admin, he is a vet as well. So Marine, that's right. Semper Fi. Isn't that what they say? Semper Fi. So say what up to him. Any tips on getting better with the strap using a guitar? Me. So use the strap while you're using the guitar to stand up. So just practice all the things that you want to get good at while you're using the strap, while you're standing up, and you'll get better at that. But you can't get better at it if you're sitting down. You just literally have to practice it and get good at it. This is the only way to get familiar with it, you know? Dominic, he admitted he could not play and sing at the same time. Ergo, Pat Smear. Okay, cool. Okay, have you ever tried playing pedal steel? Yes, I've owned a pedal steel, and I sold it to a buddy of mine, actually, who did some housework. I traded it with him because he wanted a pedal steel. And it's a different instrument. It just plays differently. It has a different vibe, but it's similar, right? So the picking and the fretting and all that stuff. But yeah, once you know how to play one stringed instrument, the other ones come more naturally. I say more naturally because you've practiced already. You know what I mean? Eric, if I use a looper pedal, can I play with my guitar live through the same amp as the loop plays? Yes, that's what I was doing at the beginning of the program. I'm running the loop through my amp and then playing over the top of it at the same time, okay? Nice. Semper Fi, 6688 to 68. Nice. Carl, what don't you understand? Let me know, bud. What's the first advice you would give a beginner? First advice I would give to a beginner is that there's absolutely nothing that you cannot do on the instrument if you, number one, find out how to do it, and then you do the practice to get there. That's my number one advice for you. The number two advice would be follow a step-by-step program by a teacher that you enjoy. Maybe that's me, maybe that's somebody else, but find somebody who you enjoy, find somebody who you can get behind, and follow the way that they do it step by step. For you, I have the second link below, UGS Standard. You can get in there for free, so follow that in order. I say it all the time. If you want to be rich, listen to the rich guy. Don't listen to the poor guy, because the poor guy's like, oh, I invested in stock and then I failed and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. He's poor, so he doesn't understand about money, okay? Sorry to offend anybody, but this is the truth. If you're poor, you don't understand about money. If you're rich, you understand about money. As a basic rule, don't get triggered, dear Lord. If you want to be skinny, you listen to the skinny guy, you don't listen to the fat guy. If you want to play guitar, you don't listen to the violin player, you listen to the guitar player. It's real basic stuff. Real basic, okay? So, follow somebody who knows what they're doing and who's passionate about teaching and is going to guide you and encourage you, okay? Maybe me, maybe somebody else, but find somebody who can do that, get in their wake, and you know, as Tony Robbins says all the time, success leaves clues. So if you're standing next to somebody who's successful at a particular something, they leave clues. And if you ask them, they're probably going to be apt and likely to tell you what it is, because they want to help. It's just very natural for us to want to help. Okay. Have you ever tried a harp guitar? I have. What's your favorite guitar pick to use? I love these Dunlop Ultecs. In fact, the .88. This is my favorite. I love these right now. These are my fave. Right there. Okay? The poor guy complains about the rich guy. It's true. And I learned in a book I read a long time ago, because I've done it too. We've all done it. Rich people, they earn that money doing something corrupt, right? We get in that mindset. I won't go down the path, but nonetheless, right? We think that way sometimes. And as long as you think that way, inevitably you will set your blueprint up to never be wealthy, because you know that all wealthy people are stingy, terrible people in your own mind. So you're going to think that way. And if you think, oh, hey, I can't be this guitar player because you have to be born with talent and this, that, and all the other bullcrap lies that you want to tell yourself, then you will never become good, because you'll automatically have your blueprint set up. You'll never be able to achieve it. Friends, you got to understand the psychology behind all this stuff, because if you don't, and you're not getting to your goals, that's why you're not getting to your goals. You got to start with the psychology first on all this stuff. Can I use pick rest to muting down strings when I'm playing a pinch harmonic with vibrato? Indeed. That's also what the pick rest is for, or the rest stroke if you're playing classical. It's to mute those other strings that don't need to be ringing out. Great. If you don't put in the time, no pain, no gain. That is 100% true. Yes. Oh, I love this. My knees hurt. My bank account is empty, but I still feel rich. Indeed. And you could be rich as Bill Gates, and you could be rich as Bill Gates and still be unhappy in your heart. We know that. That's 100% true. So when I talk about rich, when I talk about wealthy, I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about success and having a beautiful family that you love and having time with them and doing something that you love. I'm doing what I love right now, and I'm actually, I actually make money. I can keep the lights on, and I'm doing what I love, and I'm helping people. So that's a great bit. Oh, hey, we're two minutes past 12, so I need to get into it here, don't I? I do. Let's get into it, friends. Okay. We're switching gears here, friends. If you're just joining me for the intermediate or the intermediate and advanced lesson, this is the 12 o'clock mark, and this is where we do the hour advanced part, okay? As per promised, I'm going live with you for 2 hours every single day in the month of April from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. every single day, including Saturday and Sunday, because they say it takes 21 to 30 days to develop a habit, a great habit, and we're here for 30 days, right? So we might as well do it. There are 30 days in April. This is the 30-day guitar challenge. I have 30 free lessons for you today, that my top 30 lessons of all lessons in the history of ever, including the psychology of guitar. Second link below. You should have downloaded this PDF already. It's not just this. This is just page 3 of that PDF, but you should have downloaded this already. That's going to give you everything that we're doing every single day in beginner and everything we're doing every single day in advanced. That's the first link below. You should have this already. Do it right now. And then below that is the second link, which will take you to the Unstoppable Guitar System. You can get there for free. You'll see in the upper left-hand corner, once you click on that link, is the free version of it. If you want to get into the Unstoppable Guitar System Pro, you can do it, or Classic. We've got monthly memberships. We have lifetime memberships where you don't never pay anything again. We've got a $1 offer where you get the lessons for 30 days, and if you get out within 30 days, then you just spend that $1, but chances are you're going to fall in love with it. So, but nonetheless, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30 is our motto here. And so basically what I'm doing is I'm walking you through those first 30 lessons over these 30 days here. And the first hour is a beginner lesson, second hour is advanced. That's where we're going now. The first part of this hour, we did the basic picking technique and the pick rest. Now we're going to talk about singing while playing guitar. Okay, so you should have done this already. And if you haven't already, please like this video. I'd love to get this thing above 400. That would be awesome in the first few minutes here. We only need 13 people to do that. We'll get it above 400 people. And if you've liked it already, don't do it again. You'll negate it. So just hit it one time. Also, hit share if you would. It takes like 2 seconds to do. If you're not donating today, please hit share so that you share this with others. Let other people know what we're doing today. It's the most bizarre thing. After these broadcasts, I don't see a ton of shares. I see like 2 people that shared it. And it's so easy to do. You hit the share button and you share it out into interweb space. It's so easy to do. You could have done it already while I'm sitting here chit-chatting, so please do it. Okay, thanks so much. All right, so here we go. We're going to talk about practicing, singing and playing guitar and practicing at the same time. And then we're going to get to your questions, okay? We're going to go till a little bit past 1 o'clock today. Cool? All right, let's do it. So, as I've said before, Learning anything, you're going to learn this in concepts. Concepts, assets, pieces, inventory, however you want to look at it. I have something called the inventory breakdown method, right? IBM. It's inside of YouTube, I'm pretty sure. I know it's definitely inside of the Unstoppable Guitar System. I also have another video called Slow It Down, Break It Down, right? Which is talking about taking any piece, anything that's overwhelming you. You could do this with anything in life, but we're talking about guitar. So if it's a guitar solo, you may listen to Eruption and go, oh my God, there's no way I could ever play that, because you're thinking about if you had a 5-foot-long sub from Subway and you're like, I can't eat that. Are you telling me you couldn't eat that sub? I can eat that sub. Now it may take me 5 days, but I could eat that sub. I probably am not going to do it in one bite though. That's the difference, is that people, they look at this as the same thing. When it comes to guitar, and it comes to eating a sandwich, people know, because their esophagus is going to choke them, so there's something very natural built in to not overeat right away. Like you can only shove so much into your esophagus before you choke. So there's a natural mechanism there, even for somebody who overeats, to not overeat at once. So you know this. But when it comes to guitar, people don't think this way, and they try to do too many things at once. They're trying to be the hero because they are very smart, right? But they think that still they can just do this all at once, and they see somebody just doing this. It's not just this. It has to do with the mechanisms, everything that's connected with the emotion and the heart and the synapses and everything that's making this happen. So it's not just twiddling your fingers. I could twiddle my fingers. I could act like I'm playing the violin or playing the drums, but really until I sit down on the drums or play a violin, am I not going to, that's when the real nuances are going to come out, and we're really going to find out whether I can play or not. So just because people are doing this on the guitar doesn't mean that that's what you need to do. There's a real systematic, real precise, specific way to do things, and once we learn those specific things, once we can break these things down into individual pieces, learn them, isolate them, conquer them, then move to another thing and conquer it, and move to another thing and conquer it, then it all comes together. Like for instance, picking. We did the pick rest earlier. Once you learn that, you learn basic picking technique, then you learn basic fretting technique. Once you get the basic fretting technique down, you might start doing some smaller chords. You do the smaller chords before you do the bigger chords. Then once you start learning the chords, you're going to find one chord's harder than another chord. So then you're going to find that maybe one chord needs more practice than another. Then you're going to try to transition between these chords, and you're going to find that there's an issue there, because there is for everybody, right? We have to learn each one of these pieces individually. So then when you're going from one chord to the next, you have to learn how to transition, right? So all of these things are assets or inventory pieces. And when we're singing and playing guitar at the same time, there's many inventory pieces that we need to take inventory of, to conquer, to do individually, and then bring them together. If you try to bring them all together at once, you're like the juggling unicyclist on a tightrope, and you say, man, I'm really desperate for work. This pandemic has got me out of a job. Oh, look, juggling unicyclist on a tightrope. I'm going to answer that ad and go to the circus and get that job. Okay, but yet you can't unicycle very well, you can't juggle very well, and you can't walk a tightrope very well. Okay, so you got to learn these things individually. Not only learn each one of those things individually, but they may have a set of assets all together, like balancing, like pedaling, like whatever it takes to ride a unicycle. With juggling, it may be throwing the balls high enough, throwing the balls accurately enough, keeping your eye on the ball, like certain things, those variables that you might have to learn individually in order to get that one thing down. So understand that concept of inventory, understand that concept that before going into this, the reason that you can't sing and play guitar at the same time is only because you're taking on too much and you're not breaking it down, slowing it down, breaking it down. If you do that, I promise you, I have never in 10,000 one-on-one lessons that I've taught, I've never seen this not be successful. Ever, ever, even close to ever. Okay, so just understand that. Now, I'm probably lucky. I probably just got the 10,000 lessons plus of folks that got it when they practiced, right? That's probably it. Yeah, keep telling yourself that story. No, it's because this is true. Whatever you practice, we're not robots, right? a being thinks and grows and evolves. So when you challenge yourself, you're telling your brain, I want to do this. Hey, I want to get wealthy, or hey, I want to learn how to play guitar, or hey, I want to do 70 push-ups by the end of this month. And you keep reminding your brain this, and then you do the work, and then it says, okay, bro, what else do you want to do? The world's your oyster, and you can do anything, but you got to get the concept in a small way first. You will never, the world, the universe will never give you big things ever, 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 ever until you are honorable with the medium-sized things. It will never, ever, 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 ever give you medium-sized things, good, right? It's never going to give you those good things unless you are honorable in the small things. You've got to be honorable in the small things. That's what I'm talking about here, is getting these basics down. Once you do that, then the bigger things will happen, and bigger and bigger and bigger, and eventually you're you know now without a shadow of a doubt that you're unstoppable. At the beginning, we don't know this, so we have to be told. We need someone to guide us a little bit. I did. Everybody does to some degree. Okay, make sense? Okay, so let's talk about this. I heard there was a secret chord that David played, and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do you? You know this one, right? Hallelujah. It goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composes hallelujah. I'm trying to remember the chords. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Sorry for my morning voice, but you get the idea, okay? Now, I used to not be able to play guitar. I used to not be able to play any of these chords. I used to not be able to finger pick. I used to not be able to sing. Not that that was the greatest singing in the world. I used to not be able to harmonize. I used to not be able to sing and play at the same time. I was once upon a time I couldn't walk or poop by myself. Or I could poop by myself in my diaper. I couldn't eat by myself, right? There's lots of things we couldn't do. But then we learned and we leaned into it and we said, I want to do that. And your brain said, bro, I'm ready for you. Sis, I'm waiting for you. Let's do this, okay? And then, boom, you practiced and you got this. So just understand that. You've done this with 10 million things in your life before. You can do it with this, okay? Just believe that. Because you've done it, you wouldn't be a full-fledged walking being with a job and or not a job right now, or doing whatever it is that you do successfully, all the things that you do successfully, handstands, yoga, working out, you got a family, you're doing successful stuff, okay? Remind yourself of that and just understand you didn't get there overnight. You did it through practice, okay? And reading and studying, that sort of thing, okay? So let's break this down. So first off, we have singing and we have playing. We could break the singing down into, number one, can I sing in this key? So maybe I would just sing the melody, okay? We're gonna break this down to just singing. So maybe I would just play the song from Shrek, right? Everybody knows the song from Shrek. It was out long before that, and maybe we're just singing the melody to an MP3. Let's say I'm not playing, and I'm just singing to the song. I heard da 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 da. Okay, cool. I can sing it. It's in my range. Good. So you got that out of the way. That's one inventory piece. And then you're like, okay, now what are the lyrics? I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't have to. But you don't really care for music, do you? Okay, cool. So I know the lyrics, at least for the first verse. Also, don't practice the whole song right away. You just want to practice, say, like the verse, or just the chorus, or just part of the verse, or just the first phrase of the verse, okay? Mr. Donardo, thank you for the donation, and you're so welcome for doing this. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, and I love doing it. Thank you. So you break it down. So you say, okay, I know the lyrics to the first verse, but I don't know the lyrics quite well to the second verse. Well, what do you think's going to happen when you know the lyrics and you got everything else down, and then you come to the second verse and you forget the lyrics? Your brain's going to go searching, and all of that energy of your brain searching for that lyric is going to steal all of the focus, and you're going to screw up on the guitar. That's what happens to you when you're doing multiple things and you screw up. You haven't done those individual pieces. You haven't conquered those enough separately, which is why I make you go through the strumming bits and the fretting bits and the picking bits all separately in the free program. Second link below. That's why I do that all the time. Okay. Make sense? Okay. Oh, is Corey here? Hey, there's Corey. What's up, brother? All right, friends, after this broadcast in 45 minutes, my buddy Corey is going to be going live. You don't want to miss him, okay? Amazing guitar player and amazing teacher. We will put the link up to his live broadcast right before we end here. I want you to head over there, okay, afterwards. We're still going to go for 45 minutes yet, but amazing dude, and just kind dude as well, okay? So check him out. Okay, so we learn the lyrics separately, right? We learn the melody separately. So let's say I know it and I can sing, I heard there was a secret chord that David played that pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do you? Right? Same thing. Corey, chime in here if you want, because Corey he has learned to sing. He has made himself a really valuable Nashville player by not just being a great guitar player, but also by being a great vocalist. He's taken vocal classes. Why? He's a guitar player and instructor, and right, all that. Well, because he understands that you practice things that you want to get good at. So if you want to get good at singing, you have to practice singing. If you want to play in front of a band, you need to be able to do those things to become a valuable player. What happens if they're looking for a guitar player who sings also, and you're this great guitar player, but you don't sing? Sorry, you don't get the gig. Corey does. That's how it works. So he knows this as well. If he wants to chime in here, Corey, feel free to chime in. But we got to learn these We've got to learn these things separately, okay? So now, let's say you learned everything that you needed to learn. The song's in your key. You know the lyrics. You know the melody. Boom. You can do it, and you can sing it without messing up. It sounds great. Boom. We'll call that one subject, okay? We will call that as one inventory piece right here, okay? One big inventory piece, because in there was lyrics, melody, key, singing on pitch and all that stuff encapsulated in that. So we got the song down. Now, let's say, now we need to get the guitar part down. Well, let's say the song has a C, an A minor, an F, and a G, and an E minor, which it does, okay? So we got that. So here's the deal. What do you think the chances of your success of singing and playing this at the same time if you don't have your chords down? Well, not good at all, because that a chain, right, is as weak. What is it? Is as weak as its weakest link, or it's as strong as its weakest link. So you can have a chain that each link can hold 1,000 pounds, but there's one link in there that has a little nick in it, right? And that one can only hold 50 pounds. Well, it doesn't matter that each one of those links can hold 1,000 pounds apiece, because this one link that can only hold 50, and you're trying to lift a load that's 75 pounds, it's going to drop, because that one link is too weak. The rest of the chain's going to hang on, but that one link's going to break. Same thing with your playing here. You could have all of these individual pieces down. Let's say there's 10 pieces, and if you forget the lyric, that's the weak link in the chain, and that's going to make you malfunction. Now, as you become a better player, as you become a better performer, forgetting a lyric, breaking a string, hitting a wrong note, I do it all the time, is not going to throw you off your game. You're just going to keep going. You're going to be able to keep going. But if one of these variables are not there, especially in the beginning when you're trying to get your feet wet at understanding a concept and getting good at it, it's going to throw you off your game. You're going to freak out, and you're going to stop what you're doing. You're going to think the whole thing is shit. And the whole thing's not shit. It's just you messed up one little thing, but it threw you off. This is why you can ride down the road talking on your phone, of course, with your Bluetooth headset. You can talk while driving at the same time. You wouldn't do that to a teenager the very first time they're driving, because they need all their faculties focused on the road. They need to be hearing, they need to be listening, because they're probably going off into someone's lane. They need to be listening for horns, everything else. So it's all about that focus. But later on, as a big boy, as a big girl, you can drive down the road, talk to your mom on the phone at the same time, because subconsciously you're driving the car. Consciously, you're figuring out what the next thing is that you're going to say to whoever it is you're talking to. In the same way, when we're playing guitar, The more things we can put into our subconscious by doing it consciously enough times, right? I heard there was a secret chord, David plays and it pleased the Lord. I know that because I've sang it so many times. I know the chords, C to A minor. I know the picking pattern because I've done it 7 million times, so much so that I can talk at the same time. That means my subconscious knows how to play this while I'm consciously talking to you, okay? So there's always going to be something that's at the forefront, always something that's at the back, okay? And the more you get these things down into your subconscious, the easier it's going to be. So let's say now we've mastered all those chords. You've done them separately. I know you want to get to the song. I know you do. And you could, but you're going to get frustrated if you just jump into it. So now you got all your assets down. You got your chords down. Eric, I can switch to all of those. Great. Okay, excellent. Now, what about the finger picking part? Well, why don't you just practice finger picking on one string, on one chord? Okay, I can do that, Eric. Great, because if you couldn't do that with one chord, what do you think the chances of you being better at it if you add a bunch of chord changes? Yeah, that many. That's like saying I can't juggle really well with 3 balls. Why don't you throw a 4th or 5th one in here? Let's see what happens. I think I'll get better. No, you won't. You know that. So don't do it with music. Break it down. Anytime you're feeling frustrated, break it down or slow it down. This is how every guitar player learns a solo. This is how every guitar player learns a song. This is how every musician learns a piece of music. It's not done any other way other than slowing it down and breaking it down. Once you learn that concept, you got the keys to the kingdom. You can do anything that you want to do. But you got to learn the patience. You have to learn that it's available for you if you slow it down. Okay, now you got all the chords down. Remember, you got the lyrics and the music down. You got that part. You got the singing part down, let's say. If you don't, there's tons of people that are teaching you how to sing online. You can find those, okay? Brett Manning is a personal friend of mine and an amazing singer and one of the top, has taught Haley Williams and from Paramore and Keith Urban and a slew of other folks. So great dude and a great singer and a great teacher, singing success if you want to check him out, okay? So let's say you got the singing down, now we're working on the chords. The chords are one asset. Finger picking's another asset. What about switching from chord to chord? That's a whole nother asset. So you got your as I teach you here on YouTube, Your Guitar Sage finger picking, okay? Got lots of videos for that. So now you got to work your chord transitions, get your chord transitions down. Let's say you got that down. Now you've got all your singing done separately, all the mini assets there. Now you got your playing down, all the mini assets there, and you can do them both separately, perfectly, let's just assume. Now what you need to do, and this is where most people are at, they're like, I can do that, Eric, I just can't put them together. Yes, you can. You're doing too much at once. That's the only thing you're doing wrong. Did you hear me? Listen. You can do it, number one, 100% without a shadow of a doubt, because if I can do it, you can do it. I used to not be able to do it, okay? But the only reason that you're not able to do it like you think you are right now is that you're trying to do too much. At the same rate, I can't lift 1,000 pounds bench press right now. I'm pretty sure of that. But I could work up to it, maybe. I know the world's record's like 1,200. It's some crazy amount. I probably won't be bench pressing 1,000 pounds anytime soon. I'm a guitar player. We don't get to do that. But if I work up to it, I could do a lot more than I thought. So that's the concept here, is work up to it. Okay, now I got all the pieces down with the playing. Now I need to add the two together. So here's how you might do this. You still want to pull some pieces out, slow it down, break it down, as I talk about all the time. I have videos on this. So instead of finger picking and singing at the same time, maybe I would do this. Maybe I would just strum the chord on the changes. Very easily, very simply. So I'd go, I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do you? Right? So I might do that at first. It goes like this. The fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Sorry, So nonetheless, so there, I didn't have my chords down there. That's a perfect example. I had my chords down until that part. So until I resolve that, and I think that might be the second time I messed that up while singing and playing at the same time because I'm focusing on the lyrics. I obviously don't have the chord structure down enough to perform this live. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. Or say like in a live broadcast in front of 600 folks. That would be crazy. So what I would want to do is I would want to practice that again. I heard there was a secret chord that David played to please the Lord. You don't really care for music, do you? It goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king compose, hallelujah. Cool, I got it. Maybe I'll do that 2 or 3 more times to, once you get it right, do it 2, 3, 4, 5 more times to really ingrain it into your subconscious, right? I talk about this all the time. If you go one way through a meadow and you go the same way, the grass is going to be patted down. If you do it 10 times, now you really have a nice neural path in your brain. If you go a separate way every time, you're never going to build that habit, that muscle memory, as they say. Okay. So now I've got it down. I heard there was a secret chord that David played to please the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do you? Okay, so now I got that basic bit down. Now I might do this. Now I might say, okay, let me try the finger picking. So, now I might just try this separately with, make sure I can get the whole song down with the finger picking and the chords and the chord transitions. Separate event again. All these things may take you, each one of these may take you a day, it may take you an hour, it may take you 15 minutes. It just depends on where you're at with your plan. No foul on however long it takes you. It takes you as long as it takes you to get it. That's it, okay? So then you're going to go, I heard there was a secret chord. I heard there was a secret chord. Heard there was a secret chord. So you'll loop a section until you get it. Once you get that, then you add some more. Heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. Cool, let me try the next section. So you don't really care for music, do you? Okay, so you don't really care for music, do you? So I might practice that in a loop until it feels comfortable. Then I take those pieces and I glue them together, and I take that piece and I glue it together. Then eventually you are actually singing and playing at the same time. It's literally that simple. Now I know for some of you that doesn't seem simple, but it is. It's just a matter of slowing things down, breaking things down, and doing each asset piece, honoring it as it deserves, okay? And then you glue those pieces together once you get it, okay? Now I know that was a long explanation here. I know that was really long, but I really wanted you guys to get this. Let's get to your questions here, okay? Friends, if you haven't already, if you're just tuning in, please like this video. If you've liked it already, don't do it again. Like it one time, and also please share this with a friend, okay? One bite of the apple. See, it makes a lot more sense when we're talking about eating, because we would never eat the whole apple at once. But when it comes to guitar, I don't know why, we just think we're just such geniuses that we're just going to get it, that we're some sort of, that it's ever happened like that for anybody. Look, it didn't happen like that for Hendrix. Why do we think it would happen for you and I? Although there may be, you may be greater than Hendrix, you may be. But I think pretty much in history, everybody has had to do this by earning it, right? Going through the gauntlet, as they say. Chunking, chunking, chunking. It's one of the secrets. Indeed. Kevin, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. All caps with a question mark, if you would, for the questions, okay? I am a month into quitting smoking. My voice is getting much better. I need to take some singing lessons. Oh, that's awesome, JR. Check out Singing Success. My buddy, Brett Manning, he's amazing. And I believe he has some free stuff out there too. I think especially during this month, I think he may. Eric, do you find playing lots of different styles of guitar helps your overall playing or hinders it? Brian, what I always say is wherever you're spending your time is what you're going to get good at. And when you're there, you're not in the other places. So if I'm practicing blues, I'm not practicing classical. Don't fear that. It's okay. Do what it is that you want to do and get good at what it is that you like. I like listening to a great jazz guitar player, but I don't aspire to be a great jazz guitar player because I just don't love the sound of it. Personally, I just don't love it. It's okay. There's lots of people that don't like certain genres. It doesn't make them less or better of a player or anything like that. It's just, what do they like? You like certain tastes, right? So if you're spending the time doing blues, you're not spending the time doing something else. But if you're Stevie Ray Vaughan, did anybody give a crap that Stevie Ray Vaughan wasn't some classical guitar aficionado? I don't care. We don't look for him for that. And at the same time, we don't look at Segovia as being a great blues player. We're not like, yeah, but can you play, can you play Scuttlebutton, Segovia? No, we don't say that. We look at Segovia for classical and finger-picking type stuff. Chet Atkins, he did his own thing, right? Everybody has their own thing, has their own style. Sometimes it's a hybrid of those styles. But practice what it is that keeps you jived, what keeps you up, keeps you happy, because that's going to keep you going, okay? How or where can I start to learn to sing by myself? Raquel, just sing. That's the place to start. Just sing. And then if you want to follow some lessons, there are tons of lessons on YouTube that are free of people that are trying to help you play, just like people are trying to help you play guitar. So just sing. I find that if I sing the lyrics in my head repeatedly as I play, eventually the moving the lips part just happens naturally. Have you ever heard of that approach? Indeed, Timothy. What you're doing is you're doing the same exact thing. You're mimicking and you're kind of paving that way. It's kind of like a kid on training wheels. If you kind of lift the training wheels up a little bit where they're kind of doing that wobbly bouncing thing, they don't like that bouncy thing, so they naturally they start getting to balance, right? And then finally you take the wheels off and they're fine. That's what you're doing. You're slowly lifting the training wheels off, and that 100% will help you. Yes. Which energy do you draw from the universe to get in the zone of your playing? That's an interesting question, entrepreneur promotion. So I don't know. I don't know specifically. I think there's some people that understand this stuff much better than I do, but I mean, I just love playing, and I think for some people it's just a matter of they just love playing, so that's energy enough, you know? So I could get probably pretty esoteric there, but I won't. Is it esoteric? Is that the word? Is that the word? I don't know. I could get weird there, but I won't, because I tend to do that very easily, so I gotta throttle myself down a little. Can you talk about dynamics? I am too used to reading music, so it is more difficult to know when to make something louder or softer, etc. when going by tabs or improvising. Bonnie, if you're using tabs, then you should know the music already, because otherwise you should use music, because it's going to tell you the dynamics. It's going to tell you about all the different, the timbre that you should be using on your instrument, whether you're playing higher up or lower on the strings and that sort of thing, dynamics and all that. So otherwise, I just use my ear. When you're using tab, there's not a whole lot to go on. You can look at the musical notation, and there will be bits and pieces that'll talk to you about dynamics and talk to you about approach and feel and all that stuff, okay? Did Hendrix and B.B. King innovate an area of the fretboard to create a unique sound? Every guitar player has this. It's just that some are more well-known than others. So yes, they all did that. Every great guitar player kind of did their thing. And it was more just because we are individuals, and we have habits. We have certain licks that we go to all the time. Some people would call them crutches. Other people will call them styles. But needless to say, we all have them. And some players have created, maybe more ones that are more influential than others. Does that make sense? Frodo is saying, I start to feel comfortable playing scales and pentatonics thanks to your lessons, but I have problems to put them into musical phrases and licks. Is there a good technique to practice that? Frodo, yes. Search YourGuitarSage Minimalistic Blues. If you understand one tiny part of the neck, like I was saying earlier, right? Purposely just noodling on like 3 or 4 little notes here. Because if you understand how to phrase like a child, what I mean by phrase like a child only learns the words that they need to learn at one point. If you handed them a dictionary, or if you handed a guitar player a guitar grimoire, that's not really going to help them. Now they have all the words, but they don't know how to assemble them. So you need to learn how to phrase, and we learn to phrase literally by scatting, by just talking. We talk in phrases. We have a cadence to the end of our sentence that lets us know whether it's the end of a sentence or whether it's a question, and it'll sound a different way, right? And so we need to understand this basic phrasing part, and I have a video for that called Minimalistic Blues. It's on YouTube. I have a whole series for this inside of UGS, and that will teach you how to take all the bits that you know already and actually create some phrases from it. What I really highly suggest you not do is be involved with all the different forms on the fretboard at first. That's only going to confuse you. Get familiar with one little section of the fretboard. Get good at that. Then, once you do that, you'll find that that same little section works like in 10 different places on the neck, and it's the same exact notes with the same exact licks, and now all of a sudden it all comes together for you. Okay? I've got a PDF for you on that as well. For you. Okay? I have trouble with the strumming from Margaritaville. Michael D is saying. Michael, I've got a video for that, number one. Okay, so it's a 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and 4, and. The strumming rhythm is 1, 2, and 4, and. I'm pretty sure. I've taught that song. I have a lesson for that on YouTube. Michael, I bet you a large amount of money that that either you're not in the Unstoppable Guitar System Standard, the free program that I'm giving you, or you live. We live? Let me know, somebody. Okay, I'm back. Okay, I might not even have left, but here I was locked up, okay? Okay, we're back. Okay, good. All right, we back. Okay, I think I addressed that fully, right? I think so. Okay, hey Eric, how do you practice scales with a metronome? So, I don't have a metronome sitting here right in front of me right now. I mean, I do on my phone, but that's what we got live here. So if it's clicking, click, 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 then you're going to practice usually. Then later on, so you can play many notes over each beat, but I suggest just playing one note on each beat to start off, okay? Just one note per beat each time, and then that will get you there, okay? You got to get used to it at first, okay? All right, refresh. I'm telling the kids, refresh. Okay, refresh. All right, good. The pentatonic versus chromatic solo difference. No one's soloing in the chromatic scale, okay? If you're soloing in the chromatics, it's a solo in the chromatic scale. It would sound like this. Watch. I can't even do it without falling into the scale here or emphasizing certain notes. Chromaticism is just all the notes, so it doesn't really have, I have a hard time doing that because I'm so used to playing phrases and landing on notes that I should. So, you know, there is no like playing chromatically per se. You can throw chromaticism into something, which is just using those half tones, but you want to be playing in a scale, pentatonic or otherwise, you know. Somebody said Ford Thurston. If you don't know, if you haven't checked out Ford Thurston, he's an amazing player here in Nashville. I'd like to have him on the show sometime as well. We've met, we've talked. He's an amazing player. So tasty. So yeah, check him out. If a solo performer, mostly singer with some acoustics and wanting to try electric, do you do as much chord playing playing to accompany singing, or is it different for electric guitar and singing if solo? No, it can be similar as well. Steven's also saying Guthrie Trapp. Yeah, insane player. I mean, such a great player. Just so good. I met Guthrie decades ago. He was playing guitar for a buddy of mine's band, and he was super sweet dude too, man. Super kind, but amazing. All right. How do you grow your guitar videos? I'm not sure what you mean by that. How do you grow your guitar videos? Okay, so someone's saying, how do you grow your guitar videos? If you mean like how to get more people to view them, give a lot of stuff away. Give your heart away to people. Invest in them. The world needs people to invest in them. They need people to lead them and to instruct them and to help them. So I would say give your heart and soul to and do it all the time. As much as you can. The more you do, the more people will respond. Just literally help people. Okay, that's the only thing you need to do. Don't be lazy. Don't throw up a video once a month or once every. I mean, you could, but you're going to get that kind of response, as opposed to someone who's doing it every day, or someone who's doing once a week or 3 times a week or whatever. You know what I mean? Fertilizer, sun, and water. Yeah. Michael D. Oh, well, that didn't get it answered. Let me know what I didn't answer, Michael. Let me know. Anything I tried to learn is either too easy or way too hard. Any suggestions? Yes, you're in your comfort zone. That's what that means. That means you are thinking that anything that's too hard is outside your comfort zone, and you're just sticking to things in your comfort zone. That's the problem. Unknown. You're not doing something step by step. That's your problem. Get in the Unstoppable Guitar System, at least the free version of it. It's the second link below. Go through that step by step, and then if you want to further go into lessons, I have more lessons for you. But you have to be following something that's step by step, either some sort of program, or if you're going to totally teach yourself off of songs, then when you do have something that's too hard, you need to understand how to slow it down, break it down, using the inventory breakdown method, all that stuff that I talk about. And then that will make it not so hard. It'll just make it challenging, which is where you want to be. Slow it down, break it down. That's all. Take something hard that's difficult, but break it down and slow it down. You'll get it. Does having kids slow the progress? Yeah, it does, right? Because they require time. Yeah, it does. When you're, leaving a question, make sure all caps and a question mark if you would, please. After Skinner guitar style, study blues specifically? I don't know. Yeah, what do you want to play? If you want to play blues, study blues. How do I play bar chords more comfortably? Number one, UGS standard, you know that. Go through that, because there are principles there that if you don't know those and then you're going to play a bar chord and you don't have those basic principles down, you're building a foundation on something that you haven't fully built the foundation on, okay? You got to do that. You got to know how to do the basic fretting bits. After that, search effing F chord. E-F-F-I-N-G. E-F-F-I-N-G. Here on YouTube, search effing F chord. I'll show you how to play the F chord 2 notes at a time, and then 3 notes at a time, and then 4 notes at a time, and then you will know where you're at. If you can't do 3 notes at a time, you've got no business practicing the 4-note chord, okay? But once you do the 2 notes, and then 3 notes, and then eventually 4 notes, and then 5 notes, you'll be able to do a 6-note chord eventually. Once you do that 6-note chord, I have a 2-part bar chord series that'll teach you over 100 new chords if you just know how to play one F chord. But you got to know how to play that F chord first. Cart before the horse. You got to learn this stuff in order. When you skip stuff, not only are you skipping stuff and you're not actually doing it, but you're making it much harder. You're setting yourself up for failure because you're skipping something thinking that you're somehow going to get there quicker. It's not going to happen. Look at me. It's not going to happen. You got to do things in steps. It's going to make it quicker for you. Don't skip. be honorable to those steps, okay? Someone's saying, give of your soul, don't sell it. Yeah, it should sell itself. Okay, kids want to play your guitar while you're playing it. Indeed, my little boy, all the time. If I pick any instrument up, I start playing, he comes running, starts playing it. No, I play it. And I'm like, buddy, I'm playing this one here. We have 27 guitars in the house and 9 ukuleles and keyboards and accordions. And we've got like every instrument known to man here. Son, go play something else. So he's wanting to play my stuff while I'm playing it, right? All right. All right. Makes sense? What's a good Stratocaster that's not expensive? A Mexican Strat is a fine instrument. I've owned many of them, and they're great. Make sure that they are that they're set up correctly. Somebody said Papa's in the house. Papa Stash in the house. What up, Papa? I miss my Papa, man. We gotta go to Urban Market and grab a Joe, bro. What do I do about the wife getting in the way of my practicing? Why don't you get her to play some rhythm guitar so you can noodle over the top of it, or vice versa, go back and forth, teach her a few chords, and then you guys can do a little call and response. You know, that's the way to do it. Do you have a lesson on figuring out the key? I do. Just search YourGuitarSage key on YouTube. YourGuitarSage tonal center. I've got lessons for this, for specifically figuring out the key. Here's a couple shortcuts. The first chord, I always say you're a detective, so don't go on one clue to put someone in jail. Go on many clues. First chord of the song is a good clue. If it's a C chord, it's probably in the key of C. The last chord of the song is probably going to be the tonal center of the song. If it ends on a C, it's probably in the key of C. If it's a fade out, unfortunately, you don't get to hear what the last chord is. The very last note of a chorus is usually the key of the song. Where the phrases, the guitar solo, the soloist ends his phrases usually on that note is oftentimes the key of the song. So be a detective. You're wanting to find out what all these notes are, but usually the very first thing is the first chord and last chord of the song. Almost always will tell you what key you're in. Almost. Someone said, buy her a bass. Yes. Intonation problem. Saddle's maxed out and still flat. And ideas or tips, please. Alan, what do you mean maxed out? That's probably your reason that you are flat, is that they're maxed out. There's not a best intonation. Like, what I mean by that is that you're not like looking for extremism in intonation. Intonation has to do with balance. So that means it's in the right place. Your saddle's in the right place. It's not too far forward. It's not too far back. If you need to know more about this, there are plenty of YouTube videos on that. I suggest taking it to a luthier, but you can do it by yourself. I used to do this with all my guitars. I don't have the time to do it anymore, so now I have a professional do it. But it's a great thing to learn. I still know how to do it. Essentially, you're going to play at the open fret, right, open string, and then the 12th fret, and you should be using a tuner, and if it's off, then you need to adjust that specific saddle until the pitch is the same at both places, okay? I might have a video for that on YouTube, I'm not sure. Would you explain the difference between melody and harmony in assembling a tune, please? Yes, a melody is a single note, right? Like a solo. A solo, something like that. Harmony is like 2 notes at once, or more. Harmony is 2 notes or more. So we hit a chord, that's harmony, or that's 2 notes at once, as opposed to a melody. Makes sense? Scarescapes, thank you so much for the donation, friend. $20, I so appreciate it. I'm blown away by your spirit. Thank you so much. I'm glad I found you, Dave. Dave, thank you so much, buddy. Super kind, and that means so much to me, truly. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate that right now. Yay, Sergeant Strat signed up for UGS yesterday. All right, man, I'll see you on the inside. Hit me up when you're in there. What's more useful, all the shapes of major, minor, pentatonic, or the major scale? If you're talking about soloing, I say start with the pentatonic scale. It's a much easier, you have less notes, and really for a beginner, we want to really emphasize nice, simple stuff, because that's where you're going to learn the most. Listen, you're not going to learn more by complicating things. Later on you will, but there's a reason that we go to kindergarten before we're a senior in college, okay? So learn things stepwise. It makes sense for that. It makes sense for everything. Learn the easy stuff first, and then as you graduate from those, you go in intermediate and then advanced. It's very simple. But pentatonic is very easy. It's only 5 notes, and you can solo with it all day long. There are people who have made whole careers on just playing that, the pentatonic, okay? How do you convince my wife? How do I convince my wife I need UGS Pro? She doesn't understand. Maybe if you play her some beautiful songs, Gerald, if you play her some beautiful love songs and she sees what's coming out, then there's some game in, there's something in it for her, right? She needs some fruit, bro. You need to grow some fruit for her. So play her a beautiful song. Say, man, I could do more if I knew some more chords and what have you, right? Beautiful. Schnauzer Dad 06. I'm breaking through today with your help, Eric. Woohoo. It's coming together. Beautiful. Love it. Great stuff, Eric. What might be your practice ratio for technique versus songs, learning, practice, many things? Well, Frank, in the beginning it was all technique, and then, well, not all technique, lots of technique, and then it was more about songs. Now anymore, I'm not thinking so much about technique unless I stumble on something and then I'm like, oh, bro, you need to work on that, right? So I'm always thinking songs now at this point. Thank you, Gregory. I just called to say I love you. Thank you. I'm not sure what's for lunch, but in 7 minutes, we're going to put a link on the screen that's going to send you over to my buddy, Corey Congilio. He is going live today. It's Thursday, right? Yeah, he dropped in here and he let us know. So Mike or Jason or Emmy, if you guys are in here, and if just have that link ready, if you would, at around the 1 o'clock mark. I'll remind you guys again, but just have that link ready in about 10 minutes. Drop that so people will head over to Corey. Corey Congilio is a buddy of mine. He's a fantastic guitar player. He's a producer. He's a studio player, live musician, great instructor. Check him out. You'll have to check him out today. He's amazing, okay? And he's a good guy, too. Suncoaster, thank you, bud. Super kind. Sage, I just want to say you're a very wise man. Thank you. Tell my wife that. See, honey? No, I'm joking. She's not even in here. She'd roll her eyes is what she would do. What is the difference between a tonal center and the key of a song? It's the same thing. It's the tonal center, okay? It is the same thing. It's the one note that all the other notes and all the other chords revolve around. You may not know this just off the top of your head, but just like I say, a 3-year-old and a 97-year-old conductor who's been playing music in front of an orchestra, who's been conducting an orchestra for decades, will hear the same set of notes. They'll hear everything the exact same way, unless they have a hearing deficit, unless there's something wrong with their ear, with their hearing physically. They're going to hear all the same pitches. They're going to hear everything the same. It's just that the conductor is schooled and knows what he's listening to. Just like a child, you could feed them an avocado and an apple, what have you, and they'll eat it for years and still not know what it is. And then later on you say, well, this is an apple, and then they identify the taste with the apple, and then they start recognizing that. Just like you may not know what a minor chord sounds like today, but if I point it out to you and then I point it out to you again, and eventually you start understanding the taste in your ears, what a minor chord sounds like, and then you start getting it. But you don't get it until you're shown it, and then you finally get it, and the light bulb comes on, and then you start getting it. It becomes part of you, right? It's the same thing. The ear is trained. This isn't something you're born with. Yeah, you're born with your hearing, but you're not born with the being able to decipher these notes. An infant's not. Mozart wasn't. Yes, Mozart at 4 was writing stuff, but it wasn't like an angel visited him and gave him this gift. He was practicing from an early age. But he was super obsessed at an early age. So whatever you're obsessed with, you're going to get good at, because you are tenacious and you're going to learn it no matter what it is. Okay? That's how it works. It's that simple. Don't overcomplicate it. If it makes you feel better to say, oh, he was talented and an angel visited him, or Robert Johnson sold his soul and that's why he was good, if that makes you feel better so that you cannot be successful, and then you can say, well, that's for them, and I'll just sit on the couch and watch TV, and I'll just not get very good at guitar because that's for special people, then don't let me stop you from living a completely mediocre guitar life. I don't want to stop you from that. If that's what's making you happy, is to live in that, then don't let me stop you, because I don't want to take that away from you. Dear God, that's a good thing to be happy in mediocrity, right? Don't let me do that to you. See what I did there? Okay. Okay, so Emmy, thank you so much. So there's Corey's stream right there. Emmy just dropped that link in there. Friends, click on that link, open that up in another tab, because Corey's going to be going live here right after I'm going live, and I want you to check him out. He's a great player and a good guy and a great instructor as well. What amp would be a good first amp? Well, it depends. If you're playing with a band, I would say get a Fender Blues Junior. If you're on more of a budget than that, a Katana, a Boss Katana amp is a perfectly good just playing like practice type of amp. I have both of those inside my link, my guitar link, guitar review link that's below. It's like one of the last links below. It says guitar review, etc. Click on that. That'll take you to where you can buy the Blues Junior. You're gonna buy the Katana, etc. And any other piece of gear that I'm talking about. Okay. That 1 watt Black Star is pretty cool too. I love that thing. Yeah, one more Black Star is what I had. Yeah, those are awesome. What about the forbidden chord, the devil's note? You're talking about the diminished chord. Listen to this. Tell me if you hear the devil's chord. Here it is. Listen, I'm going to play it for you. You tell me if you hear it, okay? Hear the devil's chord in there? It was in there. It's the second chord I played. That chord right there is the devil's chord. Why is it called the devil's chord? Well, because back in the day, Bach times, we were being introduced to music, right? And there were certain intervals and certain chords that bothered people. Like, for instance, this interval. That one's not so bad, this one's worse, and this one is really dissonant. And so the diminished chord it sounds very dissonant, right? But when it's in context, it sounds real nice. So everything in context, right? I don't pour hot sauce into my eyeball, but I'll sprinkle just a little tiny bit on my burrito, right? And that's nice. So everything in context. Just remember that. All right, friends, really quickly here before we go. Oh, man, thank you so much for the last minute donation there. Did we get two donations? No, yeah. 3 mud people. Thank you so much for the donation here. Super kind, friend. Really quickly before we go, if you haven't already, like this video. If you have, don't hit it again. Just hit it one time, thumbs up. And please share this video before you go. Would you kindly do that, please? It takes 2 seconds. It's a share button right next to the like. And also, friends, if you haven't, subscribe. Go hit the subscribe button because I'm doing this every single day with you. I want to help you play guitar. I had so many, I have over 1,000 videos, 1,300 videos for you for free. Okay, so I want to help you play guitar. There's no reason why you shouldn't. You got 30 days here in the month of July. I'm here for you for 60 hours of live, going live from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. every day. From 11 to 12, I'm doing a beginner lesson, and from 12 to 1, I'm doing an intermediate advanced lesson. There's no reason that you shouldn't be doing this. The first link that's down below is going to give you access to our PDF that has other stuff, not just this. There's other stuff in there with other free bits. Check it out. Don't not do it. Do it. It's the very first link, right? You can do it. The second link below is how to get into the Unstoppable Guitar System. If you want to become a member, great, do it. You can do it for free today. UGS Standard, my top 30 lessons I teach all my students, and that's what I'm walking you through every single day here. These are the advanced lessons, and they'll tell you the day that we're doing it and what it is we're talking about, so you're not stuck, okay? Inside the course, you're going to find PDFs that are going to help you every single day with doing this stuff. They're going to help you understand all that we're doing here on music. I want to help you how to play guitar, okay? And that's what I'm doing. Friends, hit that Corey Congilio link right now. Head over to Corey. Tell him that I sent you. He's an amazing dude, and he's got amazing stuff to show you. So let's keep the show going. Head over to Corey's. Tell him what's up from Eric, and that's where I'm going right now too. All right? See ya. Love you. Thank you so much for the beautiful donations, the great comments, the great questions, and all today. I'll see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Don't forget to click on those links below. Love you. Subscribe, like, all that stuff. Bye. See ya. Yeah.